Hello friends, Master Sommelier Peter Neptune here with another episode of Master Sommelier Peter Neptune on YouTube. I thought that this episode I would have some fun. I went deep into my cellar and I found 3 Savennieres. What is Savennieres? It is a Chenin Blanc appellation in the Loire Valley. It's in the middle Loire in Anjou-Saumur. It's on the right bank of the Loire where there is a stretch of red schist, which is a beautiful vineyard soil. It's a vertically fractured vineyard soil that allows the roots to go down really deep and grab all this liquid mineral stuff and bring it up into the grapes and therefore the wine. It's been called the world's greatest Chenin Blanc appellation and the world's most ageable Chenin Blanc appellation. So I thought, is it true? Does Chenin Blanc age from Savennieres for a long, long time? Well, let's look, because and look at the color. This is a 1995, that's right, 1995 Chateau De Pere. I believe I'm pronouncing that right. Chateau De Pere Savennieres. And look at the color of the wine. Wow. This is a 2004 Domaine Beaumard Savennieres Clos de Papillon. And interestingly, it's under Stelvin, a screw cap, and look at the color of the wine. I kind of rest my case for the efficacy of screw cap. And this is a 2010 Clos de la Coulis de Sorrent from the Joly family. So let's talk a little bit about the appellations of Savennieres. There's a general appellation of Savennieres, which is typically dry Chenin Blanc. They do allow for off-dry and sweet. And the first 2 wines, we have a Savennieres, a Clos de Papillon. So this is a single clos, a walled vineyard that, you know, it's not its own appellation, but it is a demarcation of this single vineyard. And then there's Savennieres Rochamoine, which is its own appellation, and Savennieres Coulis de Sorrent, which is a monopole, meaning it is owned solely by the Joly family. The Nicolas Joly has been a really vocal proponent of biodynamic farming, and you can Google that and look it up, but it's a methodology of farming that is kind of like ultimate organic. I mean, the back of the bottle says biodynamics, you know. So this guy's amazing. He wrote a book that's available called Wine from Sky to Earth if you want to learn more about biodynamics. It's a solely owned monopole of 7 hectares, so it's tiny, and it is justifiably famous. And so, wow! But man, look at the color of these wines. The Joly has the darkest color of all. The Beaumard has the lightest color of all, and it's 6 years older than the Joly, than the Coulis de Sorrent, and the Epere also has an amber color. So let's just go through these wines and see if it's true whether Chenin Blanc can age from Savennieres and what we have in these wines. So wine 1, which is the Chateau De Pere, is a medium amber color. It's definitely showing oxidation on the nose. So it's got kind of a brown apple character, a baked apple character. It's got the telltale aroma for Chenin Blanc from the Loire Valley that I always tell my students to be on the lookout for, which is chamomile flowers. You can buy chamomile tea and smell it, but at a food supply store, you can find chamomile flowers, dried chamomile flowers. And you smell this, and it just smells like chamomile. I mean, it's really unbelievable. In fact, they all should. This has a kind of waxy beeswax overtone, and it's interesting, there's even a hint of a botrytis character here, which is not unusual in Savennieres, to actually pick semi-botrytized, so I mean noble rot, where the grapes are attacked by a rot that actually begins to shrivel the grapes a little bit, and still be able to make a dry wine. But there's these overtones of bitter honey and dried honey and all this other stuff going on. It's a pretty complex nose. There's a little bit of nuttiness. Again, a little bit of that brown apple. It's not off-putting, and a little bit of an apple skin as well. There's a lot going on in this nose. There's kind of dried flowers, dried potpourri. There's a kind of an applesauce character, and there's also quince paste, again, which is very typical for Chenin Blanc from this particular area. Let's try it. Well, the wine's dry, acidity pretty high. It's high acidity, man. Alcohol's medium, body is medium, intensity is medium plus. I feel that the wine is oxidized. I just think it's a little bit over the hill. 95, 05, 15, it's almost 30-year-old wine, folks. So I think if this had been under screw cap, it would be fresher. It's got great acidity and it's very bright, but there's just this sense of oxidation that I'm just not particularly fond of. It's almost sherry-like on the palate. So I'm just gonna say, well, I think a 95 Savenniere, 30 years might be a little too long. I don't know. I think the wine's acceptable. It was probably really good, about 15 years ago. So that was the last bottle I had in my cellar. I was looking for another Savenniere. I found these two. And it's like, oh my God, I got a 95. So I'm gonna pass on the 95. The Beaumard Clos de Papillon looks fantastic. I mean, look at that. It's a bright, clear, pale lemon color. I mean, that's just unbelievable. This is an 04. This is 20-year-old wine, 20-year-old Chenin Blanc. And Chenin Blanc has a tendency to get a little oxidative anyway, so you got to be careful. These guys, they nailed it by beginning to bottle under Stelvin enclosure. I believe back in '99. These guys were way ahead of the curve, especially for a French producer, because they're like a poo, screw cap. So, on the nose, well, there's the chamomile. There's fresh here, fresh quince paste, applesauce, apple tart tatin. There's beautiful Lisi character here of like Greek yogurt and a little bit of even a marzipan character. There's development, but it's still really fresh. It's got a beautiful chamomile, that kind of beeswax overtone, and a beautiful earthy kind of hay. It's everything you would expect from 20-year-old wine, with the hay and the kind of, it's just wonderful. It's a wonderful, wonderful nose. It just captivates. Oh, I can't wait to taste this. You're not gonna put new wood, by the way, on any of these wines, so we're not gonna get any of that happening. On the palate. Bone dry. Whoop! Acid high. Alcohol medium. Body medium plus. Intensity medium plus. Bordering on pronounced. Minerality underneath. Chalky minerality just driving this wine. Fresh as a daisy. Bravo, Domaine Beaumard. This is outstanding wine. It's got freshness, verve, vibrancy, apple, quince, chamomile, dried honey, bitter honey, acacia, wonderful kind of apple crisp, pear, a little hint of lime underneath, mineral. Golly, this is just a great bottle of wine. Fresh as a daisy. I can't believe how good this wine is. 2004 Domaine Beaumard Clos de Papillon. Bravo. Outstanding wine. Oh boy, Dover Sole, here we come. That, for me, Savenniere and Dover Sole prepared with just a lemon butter sauce is to die for. So that's what I'm doing. Dover Sole with this wine. Absolutely fantastic. Bravo, Domaine Beaumard. I don't know. This is a 2010 Clos de la Coulis de Sorrent. It's a medium amber with orange. Is this an orange wine? Is this a dreaded orange wine? My God, it sure looks like one. Is Coulis de Sorrent the original orange wine? I don't know. Let's give it a smell. It smells pretty good. There's just a slight oxidative character, but it's not, it's marzipan, and I don't mean that the marzipan that I smelled in the Beaumard was oxidative, it's not. But this is a little bit of orange marzipan. There's a very interesting citrusy note here with kind of orange peel and a lime undertone, apple for sure, quince for sure, chamomile for sure, acacia, blossom. But there's a unique note here of what I call bactine. And that's my marker for I smell botrytis. Botrytis, noble rot, it's a very unique process, and one of the biochemical changes that happens when this fungus attacks Chenin Blanc or Riesling or Semillon is that botryzine is injected into the grapes, and it's an antibiotic. Roman soldiers used to make a paste and rub it onto their wounds, like Neosporin. Tokai azu is made from azu paste, and it's been a medicine for 700 years, right? So I smell botrytis in this wine, and Nicolas Joly is famous for including botrytized grapes in the making of his Coulis de Sirent. So I get that telltale medicinal smell, which I really like, but there's also this honeyed, kind of honeyed peach character here. Man, what a complex nose. You've got to smell this wine to believe it. It's absolutely, absolutely stunning nose on the palate. Wow. Well, this wine's revered for a reason. It's dry. For sure, there were botrytis grapes in here. It's dry, but there's this overtone on the back of my palate of botrytis, of noble rot, of honey, and saffron and ginger, and then the pear and the apple and this orange peel, chalky minerality, very long finish, a slightly nutty note. So there's a slight oxidative character. The wine's dry, acidity is medium plus, alcohol is medium, intensity is pronounced, body is medium plus, and just a cornucopia of flavors. It's wild because it's a dry wine that tastes like kind of a Tokai Azu. I'm stunned. It's outstanding wine. I really, really, really like it. I really think, boy, I'm trying to think of the cheese that I would really love to have right now with this kind of a semi-blue of some sort. I don't know. This would be great with sea scallops with a brown butter sauce or a beurre blanc sauce. Okay, so in conclusion, can Savennières age? Clearly, especially if it's got a Stelvin enclosure on it. I wish everybody would use these things. This was too old. This was absolutely outstanding wine. This was absolutely outstanding wine, belied by the color, which again, this looks like a botrytis sweet wine, but tastes like a botrytis dry wine. Go figure. I don't know what to tell you. I really like the wine, and you know, what's going to be interesting is in 24 hours after being opened, this wine will be better. That's been my experience with Coulis de Sirent. I hope you enjoyed the episode. Very eye-opening for me, and I hope for you as well. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next episode.